Hey everyone, welcome to Allegedly, the show where we talk about all things law. I'm Paige.
And I'm Layla, and this week's episode is Allegedly Intoxicated. So, what does intoxication mean? We asked around our school and got a wide variety of answers from simply being drunk, being under the influence, not being in the right state of mind, having an illegal amount of alcohol in your system, or something a little closer, like not being in control of your thinking, your movements, and your emotions.
And don't even get me started on the legal limit. We had answers ranging from 0.15, 0.3, and 10. And none of those are right. So, Ivy, what does intoxication actually mean?
In the Texas Penal Code, intoxicated can mean two things. A, not having the normal use of mental or physical faculties by reason of the introduction of alcohol, a controlled substance, a drug, a dangerous drug, a combination of two or more of those substances, or any other substance into the body. Or B, having an alcohol concentration of 0.08 or more.
Now that you know what intoxicated means, let's talk about something that can cause confusion. You've probably heard of DWIs and DUIs, but in the state of Texas, they don't always mean the same thing. Sam and Elise, could you explain the difference?
Yeah. Adults 21 and older get charged with a DWI, driving while intoxicated, which is a Class B misdemeanor. Anyone younger gets a DUI, driving under the influence. There is a zero tolerance policy for any alcohol you might have consumed, and you will receive a Class C misdemeanor.
Now, of course, there are more charges, but that's all we're going to cover right now. We had the privilege of speaking to Corporal Moore with the Collin County Sheriff's Department earlier this week, who specializes in DWIs. He talked to us about Saturation Saturdays, SFSTs, and A-Ride, and we're here to break all those things down for you.
Alexis, what is Saturation Saturday?
So, Saturation Saturdays was started by Mothers Against Drunk Driving. They basically started this to prevent like any kind of drunk driving accidents. So officers will go and like pull anybody over, even if it's something like a simple headlight being out or just speeding. They'll just pull them over, basically.
What's the impact that has been seen once this is because this has started?
The impact is basically that they're preventing from DWIs or DUIs from happening and any kind of accidents because of drunk drivers.
What's been the public's reaction?
The public usually doesn't know that it's Saturation Saturday, so they aren't upset because they don't know that these officers are pulling a lot of people over. And so at most of these people will get a simple warning because the officers are only looking for people who are intoxicated.
So you're probably wondering, how do police even determine if somebody's intoxicated? Well, Lucas is here to tell us that.
Police determine if someone is intoxicated by SFSTs. It was created by something called the San Diego Study, a study that was conducted by the city of San Diego. They create a series of 3 tests that determine if someone is intoxicated behind the wheel. These 3 tests are horizontal gaze nystagmus, or also known as HGN, and walk and turn and one-leg stand.
Hold on, I'm going to pause you there. Flashback! I actually learned about SFSTs before Corporal Moore came in because we're required to do them for Law 1.
Yes, we did. It was very interesting because it put us in the perspective of the officer, and there was a lot to learn, and there was a lot of information to hold.
I remember, at least for my class, and this is kind of where we differ, my teacher stood outside of the door and made us recite the clues and the tests themselves, and you had to do it to her just to make sure you knew them, and it was our final grade. So I just remember being like nervous, but that's the good thing about it being standardized, is the fact that you kind of either know it or you don't.
What I remember is we were put in partners, and we quizzed each other on the clues, and it was a lot of information.
When we were also talking to Corporal Moore, he also taught us something new called A-Ride, and that was something that I've never heard before, and I know most of us have never heard before.
A-Ride was really interesting to learn about. He explained that it stands for Advanced Roadside Impaired Driving Enforcement. It was used more for drugs than it is for alcohol, and he taught us 3 of the tests that you can use. One of them, lack of convergence, another, modified Romberg, and the third, finger to nose.
So we actually had both Paige and Aspen come up, and I want to kind of ask, how was it being on the other side of things as opposed to just watching him, but actually being there as he demonstrated it on y'all?
He demonstrated the lack of convergence test on me, and it wasn't that difficult, but I can imagine if you are intoxicated or under the influence of a narcotic or a drug, it would be a lot more difficult to complete the test successfully.
He had me demonstrate modified Romberg. And while that one wasn't all that difficult, I'm not the best at balancing, and I feel like I was swaying a lot during it, but it's not really about that anyway.
As we kind of wrap up this episode, I want to switch back to a more serious topic of the consequences of having a DUI and underage drinking. So getting charged with a DUI can lead to heavy fines, probation, jail time, and suspensions of driver license. It can also lead to having a criminal record that limits job opportunities or ruin your reputation.
Getting charged with a DUI as a minor can stop you from getting into your dream college or any college. Or if you want to go to the military, it can stop you from reaching certain ranks or limit your clearance.
More of the story? Just don't drink and drive. This has been Allegedly. And until next time, stay curious.
Stay informed. Stay allegedly.